What's up, y'all? This is 10X Generation. This is my road to $1 billion. I'm building Neon Arcade, a PC sharing platform where you can earn passive income sharing your PC and your games with others in your local area, and earn some passive income. So today was a fantastic day. I got a whole lot done. I think I worked. It was a really productive day. What did I get done? Well, I got the very basics of I got the email stuff done. That's done. I got the payment stuff, the bare minimum of the payment stuff. So I display how many tokens you have. I created a new token purchase screen, and I used Figma to go ahead and type that, and then I wrote it in JavaScript and all that. I also changed around the code to make it more efficient. So the way I had it before was that in what's it called? In Next.js, there's this hook called use effect, and basically that runs in certain conditions, and one of those conditions is when the view is first loaded, right? And what I would do is inside of that use effect hook, I would make a callback for Firebase, and that will check the authentication status. And whenever there's a new authentication event, or if you sign out, sign in, whatever, it goes through this this long process of gathering the information from my server and putting it into an object and doing what it needs to do in the rest of the view. The issue is that I had that done multiple times on the entire website. So like the nav bar needs to disappear when you're not signed in. So I would have its own implementation of that there. But also it would need to be used in this this wrapper called I forgot what I called it, but you can wrap elements inside of other elements, and I called it, I think, use auth or require auth. And every single time it would switch to another page, it would again call that it would call that hook. And I'm not exactly sure how many times it would call this thing, but I decided to use the proper thing, which is contexts. Context allows you to send information from one page and one element to another very seamlessly. And I made a new context for that authentication status. And the reason why I did that is because to get that little token, the amount of tokens the particular user has, in order to have that displayed at the nav bar at all times, I need to have I need to get the object of, I need to get the the user data object. I need to get that, and I need to pass it to the nav bar. But that's like really annoying. That's whatever. Because I need to pass it all over the place for notifications, for some of the elements here. It's better just to use a context. So that's what I implemented. I did more stuff today. What else did I do? I did more stuff. Some alignment stuff. Yeah. As I'm working on it, really, I don't actually have that much more to do. I know I said that, but I really don't have that much more to do. The purchase screen, I want to add some more effects to it. So when you hover over it, it changes the pointer icon. It does some effects so that and when you click on it, make it do something else. And of course, it needs to have those server callbacks so that when you click on it, it takes the number of tokens that you want to buy, and then generates a Stripe link. It redirects you to that, and you just pay through there, and then there's a callback, all that. But most of that's already done because of the Discord. One thing that I did implement that is a little different that I think is pretty interesting is that I made it so that each token isn't, or there is a bulk action to buying tokens. So when you buy one token, it is $1. But if you buy 20 tokens, each token will be less than $1. If you buy 100 tokens, it would be less than $1. And hopefully what that would encourage is people to buy more than one token at a time. So instead of forcing people to go a certain way, you can, incentivize them to do that. And it opens up another opportunity for those with some spare cash, right, to buy a large amount of tokens. This is a potential hustle. I don't know how effective it is, but people could buy a large number of tokens, right, get it for cheaper, and then resell those tokens at a bit less than what I charge, right? So that works for me, because every single token that you buy, their Stripe takes a little bit of money, and you can look at it for yourself how much they take, but it's about 30 cents plus 3% or something like that. And if I have to pay back the hosts, that equation doesn't equal out if everyone buys one token at a time. It becomes a little bit better as they buy more tokens. So I want people to make the biggest possible purchase at a single time, and hopefully by making that function, that will work. But we'll see. That's yet to come. I still have to implement that pricing into Stripe, but just in viewing it, when you type out how many tokens you want, it does update. So yeah, that's interesting. But in terms of my mind, because I always gotta talk about my mind, I watched this video about Kant, Emmanuel Kant. It's from after school. You can check it out. But it was a pretty interesting idea about morality, and after I thought about it for a little while, I don't think I fully agree with it, but it is definitely interesting and a solid attempt to define what is moral and what is not. And his definition is, whenever you put people as the means to an end, it's immoral. Right? So if you use somebody to get something, then it's not moral. So if you, I don't know, you give somebody a gift, right, in expecting that person to give you back a gift, that would be immoral, because you're using, you're basically using that person to get something, right? That's immoral. And for those reasons, and he took it further. He also said that it's the same for yourself. If you are using your higher level functions and your higher level abilities to do something that is not in your best interest, you're clearly sinning. So something like scrolling on social media, there's a lot of complexity, and you have a lot of potential that is wasted by scrolling on social media. But the most interesting thing that he said was about people pleasing, and how it's a form of lying, and how it is immoral to people please, because you're warping how you talk, you're warping how you act, you're warping a lot of aspects of yourself to have a positive experience. And that kind of hit home, because that's what I do. I wouldn't say I'm an extreme people pleaser. I do speak my mind, but I do, change certain things about myself when I talk to people to ensure that the interaction goes as smoothly as possible, and things are good for me. I do that, and I found that it's not a super good thing to do constantly. It's really not. It can get you into relationships that are okay, but are really built on a lie. It can get you into projects and situations, a whole bunch of things that really aren't beneficial, and you really aren't wanting to see it all the way through. So I really need to stop doing that, and I stopped doing that. I'm just going to become more blunt, more honest, and speak my mind, and not have an agenda or a plan. When I talk to people, I just want to be transparent, and I think and it relieves a certain kind of burden. There's a lot of mental effort a lot of mental effort when you're trying to, you know, constantly manipulate a conversation so that it goes a particular way, which I do. Not for any like nefarious reasons, but just so, you know, both people who leave the conversation feeling good and smiling, right? Instead of it turning into a confrontation or whatever else. But it takes a significant amount of effort, and I think it keeps me, it makes me not really want to talk with people because it's like it's so much effort. But I do think if I could be my transparent, true, you know, speak my mind, have an actual fluid, real conversation without me, you know, metacognition, thinking about my thinking about how this will affect blah 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 blah. Conversations will become more fun and more interesting for me. And I won't be lying. So, yeah, that's one thing. Online dating is weird. It's going well, but that Kant thing really got me thinking. Like, is online dating moral? But as I started, I have it on my list. But as I kept thinking about that whole his perspective of what is moral and what is not, it really starts to not really make. It starts to fall apart a little bit. Like, what was the example I was thinking? Like, it kind of falls apart. Like, is it immoral to have friends then? Like, if you're lonely, right? Let's say you're lonely and you go make a friend to solve the loneliness. Is that immoral? I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's like it just doesn't really make. I don't think it's 100%. So I'm gonna skip the online dating. I wanted to bring it up because I was thinking maybe online dating has a little bit of immorality to it, but I don't know. If there's two consenting people who are agreeing to it and you're both transparent, then it's not. I don't know. Whatever. Third thing, overthinking. I do that chronically. But I was talking with my mom today, and she was talking about some of her experiences as being a teacher and all that stuff, and her experiences with her coworkers, and we kind of came to the conclusion that, you know, sometimes not thinking about everything so much is beneficial. And of course, obviously, right, if you're thinking, there's an infinite amount of fidelity and nuance to really any life situation. So if you spend too much time thinking, or if your goal is to be as nuanced as you possibly can when thinking, chances are you'll never finish because there's always something more you can consider that can flip everything on its head. So I propose, like, you know, why do we even say in the first place that thinking is higher than not thinking? Like, why is that? And that's just something I was thinking about, which is kind of ironic. I didn't put too much thought into it, really. Not too much, maybe about 15 minutes or so. But yeah, why do we think consciously thinking about everything is higher than not consciously thinking about everything? Like, we already know that all of your conscious thoughts are already in the subconscious. Like, you can't think of something that your subconscious hasn't already passed along, right? And if you're dealing with a very hard problem, staring at it for hours, thinking about it in every single possible way doesn't usually fix the solution. Usually what helps is you not thinking about it and then coming back to it. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, an epiphany, I figured it out. So, yeah. Not really thinking about everything so much, which is really ironic for me to be saying that. If you've been following along, I am like a perfect example of an overthinker. But I, because I'm that kind of person, I can really see its flaws. You just won't get things done because you're thinking about all of its implications and, whatever. Yeah, that's really it. So today was a very full day. I did everything that I wanted to do. I feel good. I feel happy. I feel excited. But I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to continue on to the next day. So yeah, that's really it. Thank you all so much for watching. This is 10X Generation. I make these videos every single day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.